I'm Theresia Ehrich, Chief Administrative Deputy for the Sheriff, both the Sheriff and Undersheriff that are a large investigative scene right now. And I wanted to go on record to give some, I think, important information regarding our budget. We did not ask to combine all 300 expenditure accounts into one line. They're all actually accounted for by the state bars system and accounting system by program. And those 300 accounts will still be accounted for by program. In fact, when we turn in our expenditures to the state auditor and to the state, they're all combined, all the individual accounts, but we're not doing that. We have individual supplies and professional services, and we'll continue to do that. The only thing we asked for is that we did not have 7 programs, that we had 2 programs to mirror the way that our budget's adopted. That one program would be all salary and benefits, and one program by individual functions and program, or by animal control and jail and everything would still be separated, like it always has been. But we asked to have it mirror the way we adopted the budget. And we also asked for the same consideration that roads that has 5 different functions are all also accounted for separately by what they do: preservation, new construction, and administration, and maintenance. But they still have all their account lines in one program. And that's all we ask to have, is have it. And I don't want to confuse, because when you say program, that connotates, we still have administration, jail, patrol, traffic, police. Everything will still be accounted for. And there's, in the Munis system, ways you can run reports in any way you want to get all the data you need and supporting documentation for the County Rural Arterial Board, or for any programs, boating, animal control, anything you need will still be the same. So I don't want to give this idea that we're just trying to combine everything so that we can't track and we can't have good data to utilize to support the different things that the Sheriff's Office does. We only asked for the access. I asked for access to the system to put those 300 accounts in so they didn't have to do it. And then we asked if that could be done so that it would also show clearly that $11.5 million of our $13 billion budget is salary and benefits, not that it wouldn't have all the details still, whether it's administration, patrol, traffic, policing, jail related. It will still have all those things and what benefits. And we actually have gone to adding extra lines in professional services supplies that we don't have to, so that there is more detail and more comprehension as far as what our budget is being spent on. So we have $11.5 million of our budget is salary and benefits. $1 million is inmate and inmate expenses, and all those things will still be detailed, whether it's nursing or hospitalization or transport or food. So I don't want to give the idea that we're just combining everything. That's not what we're doing. We're just asking for it to be in 2 different programs, and for that consideration. And I offered to put those numbers in if I needed to help and get that done. I still will. But we're not combining anything. We're not making it so you can't understand where the money is going in the operation, because $11.5 million is salary and benefits, $1 million is inmate, and $1 million is our ER&R and BaseCom. BaseCom's $300,000, ER&R is about $600,000 to $700,000 a year, and our inmate costs are $1 million. So there's not a lot of other detail and other expenditures, but we're still tracking all those lines, and we'll continue to do that. So I just thought it was important, since we are a really big operation. We have over 100 people, and that's, most of the county departments have 8 to 20, and the road has over 50, and then the utility has probably 25 to 30. But we have a lot of people. We have huge contracts that are negotiated by the commissioners, that we have almost $400,000 a year just in those in the salaries and benefits for those contracts. So I would be happy to help with any way that I can to try to mitigate this. I just thought it was important to report that we weren't interested in combining everything so that you couldn't tell where money was being spent or what's going on, because you certainly can. That's always going to be the case.
Thank you. Commissioner?
You know, Chief, each year we have an issue. Something comes up and the Sheriff's Department doesn't want to do this or doesn't want to do that. There's an authoritative level that we all deal with. And this year seems to be no different. you may have wanted it in a certain manner and requested it in a certain manner, but you have an elected official whose authority it is to, and responsibility it is to do it in a specific manner, and you were asked to do the same as everybody else. We've done this different years. It's not a choice of even us, how we turn it in. So I can understand where you may think you were going, but you still have to do.
Okay, I just want to, Commissioner, I understand what you're saying. I just want to accurately say the state is the one that sets the accounting system. The county local auditor has control of the financial system. In many counties, that's not the case. The commissioners do. We have asked for a reasonable thing. We have not asked for anything that is not in keeping with the state is the one that sets the accounting system by law. And I have all those RCWs and laws that I sent over. It's not the local auditor that decides the accounting codes, but they do have the accounting system. A lot of counties that doesn't happen, but in this county, the auditor does. We didn't ask for anything that wasn't in keeping with what the state auditors are asking us to do as far as accountability.
And again, we have things, there's manners on which things are done. And when the auditor says it's to be done this way, this is the way it's to be done. I did see a letter also coming from the auditor that showed all the RCWs saying why it had to be done this way. Again, it is their purview. We all need to step in line with what's required of us in order to get the budget.
And
we can't fight it every single year.
Sir, we're not trying to fight it for just the sake of, and I think it's unfortunate the way the communication goes. The sheriff did respond, and the sheriff, we did specify, and I don't have that with me because I didn't think I needed to, but we'd be happy to, as to why and how what we were doing was legal and was prudent and was responsible, and we did respond, and several times. So I don't want to give the understanding that we're just being, that we just thought this is the only way and that's it. We didn't decide to adopt the budget. Last year was the first time the county adopted a budget that had two bottom lines, salary and benefits and operation. And all we were doing is mirroring that same thing with the programs, not with the account codes. The 300 account codes are still there. That the programs would mirror the same way that the budget's adopted. So it's easier for the citizens and constituents to see where the money's being spent instead of having to subtotal after every program. Right now, when we send out, the way that our reports are run out, I'm subtotaling after each thing, and I think we went through that last year when we kept saying our benchmark for our divisions, especially in patrol, because of the year-end December premium payout they have by contract. It's almost $80,000 a year. That has to be considered each time you look at the benchmark each couple of weeks that the payroll's done. And so we were trying to make it actually more transparent for the citizens and easier for even the commission and for others when they're looking at our budget. Not that we were trying to do something that was going to make it less transparent. It's going to make it more transparent.
Well, hopefully next year we'll do what's required of us, each and every department, and get the stuff in as requested by the auditor's office, as it's all our duty.
Mm-hmm. We tried to. We're trying to.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So, I'm sorry. So is there a plan to submit a preliminary budget, or is that still in progress with the auditor's office? I guess I'm unclear.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I didn't address that. We did. We had a detailed line-by-line, 300 lines, and it wasn't a Word. Actually, it's an Excel document that was scanned, so it could be sent over. But it's an Excel document, and we already did that the day it was due.
But not in Munis, is that what I'm understanding?
I couldn't in Munis, sir, because we didn't have that programs weren't set up that we had asked for. We had that. There's many of your departments that have different things that they do, but they don't have separate programs set up for each one of them because there's an account system that the state has, accounting system, BARS system, that already does that for you. You don't have to have all those programs set up that way. You can still have the information you need. So we were not able to enter it in the actual system, but we did send it over in an Excel spreadsheet by the 300 different counts.
So are you saying that it was not possible to put it in
Because we didn't have access to the numbers.
the way it was requested, or to at least deliver it in a manner that the way it was requested? All the other departments did it. So is there some disconnect that made it so you were not allowed to or not possible to, or is there something that we're missing?
When you have new account codes, and you have in your non-departmental, you added quite a few different account codes, and those are put in for you, then you're able to enter the budget. If you don't have the account numbers that are not in the system, you can't enter it in the system. So as soon as the account numbers are available to put in the system, well, I can enter it in.
Didn't the account numbers already exist for each one of these already? That they already have a bars line. If we'd have put it in the way it was requested by everybody, there's already a bars line for each one of those.
And there still will be. But they're in, I think that's where the disconnect is. Then we don't even report to the state auditors by elected official program, because the bars number that account code already takes care of that. We report by fund actually to the state auditors, all current expense. But if it says 52110, that means it's an admin for patrol. It's 52122. Those things will still be the same. It's the program itself, the 205, 100, 200, 300 is what we're. So we're just asking for, and the accounting structure is still going to have all the detail. We're just asking for the program numbers to be a different.
Okay, but you were denied that.
This is kind of detailed to me. But we're still going to have the detail. We're still going to have all the account codes. We just have no way to access the system, even when we want description changes or anything to make it clearer as to what, if it's forensic interviews, we have to ask for that to be done because we don't have access to do that.
Okay, well, we do need you to put in your requests in the same manner as everybody else, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will make sure that sheriff and undersheriff get that message. And thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I hope that, I just don't feel like going into the detail here is really appropriate, but I'm happy to meet anytime to show the responses and what we're trying to do.
Well,
a little more
I
clearly.
I mean, I
would
agree
like
with
to
that,
see
but
it.
I think it is important because there's a big hole
Uh-huh.
in what we
Yeah.
got today. And
Yep.
it makes it very difficult. One of the things that makes this a great system is the checks and balances that we all have on each other as elected officials, and the independence of the offices is very important. I know that's very important. And so it makes it very difficult to put together a budget, especially on the date that we were getting our preliminary budget. It makes it very difficult when there's a $14 million hole in it that could have very easily been filled if we respected the independence of the auditor's office and her ability to tell us how to format the budget and how to implement it. And so I hope this doesn't set us behind, because there just simply isn't the time this year to go through a process that is like this. And so I appreciate everything that you said today, and I appreciate what the sheriff may be working toward. But I hope that this doesn't put us behind and we can get to work right away.
It shouldn't, Commissioner, because it wouldn't take, the biggest part of this work was to figure out what all the different contracts and salaries and special pays were. And I never anticipated that at this point this would be the case, but there isn't anything I could do to help that. But it would take me one day to get everything in, at the most. So it shouldn't put us behind. And the biggest part of the work was to figure out what all the contracts and benefits were and all the special pays, and that's all been done. So,
Okay.
but I understand. And we do respect the auditor and respect the auditor's office. I don't want to take away from that. We were just trying to make our budget more transparent and our operation reported in a more clear manner. So for the commissioners and for the citizens. But we don't have any way, if the prosecutor wants a different program, and they have had, or the building department or any department, we don't have any say in that. And sometimes the commissioner does and some not. But I do respect the office and what they're trying to do, and I didn't anticipate this would be the case, so I'm sorry for that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yes.
I would just like to answer your question, Commissioner Schutte. The budget process is very structured. We roll out the budget to all the departments in early July, and the departments have about a month to prepare their budgets and submit them to our office. At that time, at that deadline, they are now locked out of the budget module. The only department that has access to it is our office. Why we audit it and when we start preparing for presenting it to you. Today, we will be locked out of the budget process. And now, it is only the commissioners and the budget department that will see the budget through until the adoption. So basically, it's now, it's your opportunity to work with the sheriff's office to get the budget submitted in Munis financial system in the current account code structure.
Yeah, Madam Auditor, I want to say, I know how hard this has been, because I've been
not
following
been
this
easy.
also. You've been keeping this all in there. Thank you for all the hard work.
Sure.
Thank you.